In my early years of priesthood at St. Anthony's in Eunice, I was going to 4 o'clock Mass in Docile, a small rural community. And I remember well, the gospel reading was about Martha and Mary, and I gave a homily about sometimes how we go about life like Martha. And after the homily, this woman, she walked up to me and she said, "Father, you're not in Lafayette anymore." Initially, I was offended. I'm like, what does she mean? You know, that my homily was a Lafayette homily and not a Docile homily. But later, I realized, after my initial offense, after probably 3 or 4 hours, realized the wisdom that she was offering me. Basically, what she was saying was, your homily didn't resonate with us. I had given the city homily in rural Docile. That was her wisdom. So that night, I rewrote the homily and gave a revised one the next day. That evening, I grew in docility, openness to the wisdom of others. We all struggle with being docile, being teachable to the feedback of others, to their counsel, to their wisdom. In our first reading in our gospel today, we hear about our duty of fraternal correction. Docility is the other side of the coin. Fraternal correction goes nowhere if we are not docile to the wisdom, the feedback, the teaching of others. To be the family that God wants us to be, to grow, we need to be docile. So let's look a bit more at docility this morning. Back to that evening in Docile, the woman's feedback about my homily. In that story, we see 2 essential elements of docility. First, admitting our limitations. Over the course of that evening, I was able to say, all right, I am ignorant of some things. There are some things I don't know. I am wrong about some things. And I can't remedy my ignorance. I can't remedy my error by my own efforts. That's the beginning of docility. There are some things I don't know. There are some things I'm wrong about. And I can't remedy either of those by my own efforts. I didn't react that way right away, immediately, but over the course of several hours, made that journey. Second essential element of docility that we see in that story, taking for granted that this person has something worthwhile to offer me. Taking for granted that this person, in the wisdom they share, in the counsel they offer, in the feedback that they give, that there is something in that worthwhile for me. So those 2 essential elements of docility, admitting our limitations and taking for granted that this person has something worthwhile to offer me. How could I have reacted that evening in Docile? Well, I've got it all figured out, you know. I'm not wrong about anything. I'm the one with theological education, you know. Not this lay woman, you know, coming to me with feedback about my homily. No, there's nothing wrong with my homily. I'm going to give the same one over again tomorrow. That could have been my reaction. What does she have to offer to me? You know, assuming that she has nothing worthwhile to give me, and assuming that I'm right about everything. That could have been a very different reaction to this woman and her counsel, her feedback, her wisdom. Without those 2 steps, without admitting our limitations, without assuming others have wisdom to offer us, we cannot be the family that God wills. We can't grow. So where do we go with all of this? Well, I think we've got to start by recognizing the warning signs of indocility, I guess, of stubbornness. One of the warning signs is not seeking the wisdom of others. Sometimes we can have a certain laziness, a certain indifference to the wisdom of others, which is a sign that we think we've got it all figured out. Or perhaps only seeking the wisdom of those who agree with us. Those are some warning signs of stubbornness. Another warning sign, dismissing someone's wisdom because of their age, because of their personality, because of some personal trait or characteristic. We see this in the Gospels with Jesus. When they reject him at Nazareth, what do they say? He's the carpenter's son. You know, we dismiss what he says because he's the son of a blue-collar man. Another warning sign of indocility, being a fault finder rather than a truth finder. When someone offers wisdom or counsel or feedback, am I a fault finder or a truth finder? In arguments, my desire is not the truth, but rather victory for my position and defeat of their position. The final warning sign, when the wisdom of others, when their counsel, when their feedback makes me angry, makes me lose my cool, makes me lose peace and tranquility. Not all of these are necessarily signs of indocility. But each of them is a little flag that says, hey, sit with this for a little while. Don't dismiss this wisdom, this feedback, this counsel immediately. Assume that you don't have everything figured out. Assume that this person has something to offer you. That's the path to growth. I still struggle with that every day, day in and day out, to always have an attitude, a disposition, humble receptivity to the wisdom of others. With that, we grow. Without it,